Hey guys, welcome back this week. So, last week I talked about my first VEDS complication, and this week I'm going to talk about the second major complication. So, after my bowel obstructions in 2012, I had actually been diagnosed with gastroparesis in 2013, and that's just that my stomach was emptying slowly, so they put me on a medicine to help it empty faster, and it helped with a lot of the bloating and stomach pain and nausea I would get. So that's not the complication I was going to talk about. I just needed to mention that really quick. That was in 2013. So I didn't really have any other issues until 2015. And my right leg has always been my bad leg. I had been going to PT off and on to strengthen that leg because I would always have a lot of knee pain and hip pain since high school. And so my right leg was always my bad leg. And in 2015, I studied abroad. We went to Europe, and it was a lot of walking all the time. And I think that's when my left leg started to go downhill. Because I remember that I came back, and my left foot was hurting. It was hurting a lot, and I started going to physical therapy again to help my left foot feel better and relieve the pain. And it would swell too. And that was in July. So then later that year, I it was in November, I went country dancing with my friends because I love country dancing at the time, and we were two-stepping, and I remember it was during a line dance. I'm not wearing heels, I'm just in my country boots. It was during a line dance, and I started to feel pain in my left calf. So I tried to keep dancing just to brush off the pain, and it wouldn't go away. So in the middle of the dance, I got off the dance floor, and I was like, I'll just rest for a little bit. But I got to the point where it even hurt to stand. So I told my friend we have to go home. And when I got home, my left calf was swollen. It was huge compared to my right calf. So then we got concerned for blood clots because I'm also at risk for blood clots. And we went to the ER. They did an ultrasound. It was negative for a blood clot. And so my doctor had said that it was probably a hematoma that formed in the muscle. So I had a bleed in the muscle. So he was like, we're going to be off of it for a few weeks, just rest, and then we'll see how it feels. So after that was in November, I rested and I was completely off of it, and it got better. So I think around December, the end of December, I started doing PT again, this time for my left calf. And I was walking again, and everything was fine. I started school again at UTEP, and I started to go to the rec center there. I was doing the elliptical because I was like, I want to strengthen my muscles in order to prevent muscle injury, because that's how the body works. And so it was in March that I don't remember how it started hurting again, but my left calf started hurting, and it got to the point where I couldn't even stand on it with my weight, with my full weight on it. I couldn't even stand on my tiptoe. It hurt. So then we decided the doctors ordered an MRI, and it showed that some of the muscle fibers and the muscle surrounding had a bunch of swelling and partial tears. So that's when they decided to they said I needed to immobilize my leg again. So they gave me a splint to wear during the day and at night. That way it would hold my foot up like this, because if not, my foot was just going to be hanging, and if I'm not moving and it's hanging like that, it could get very stiff. So, and they didn't want to put me in a cast because then that just can have some other problems with getting too stiff, because my scar tissue is not that great at healing. So it was just kind of like they wanted to still let me have some mobility with the splint, and I could take it off and move my foot whenever I needed to, as opposed to a cast when I would just be stuck in that for a long time and not be able to move my foot. So all that year, March 2016, I would feel better. They would tell me I could walk again. So I'm like, great. I'll start walking, and then it would start hurting again. So it would start hurting and swelling. So it was a whole cycle of healing and tearing for all that year. And they gave me crutches, but I couldn't use the crutches because it would rupture the blood vessels in my hands. I would get bruises on my hands and on my underarms, and even after one day of using the crutches, I couldn't even lift a glass of water because of how in pain my muscles were. And so then they put me in a wheelchair. So That way I didn't have to worry about the arm pressure. But then that was a whole nother set of issues because I had to rely on people to push me. I don't have the muscle strength to wheel myself around. And I couldn't even walk around my house. I had to wheel myself around the house in the wheelchair. And so that was all 2016. And then it still hadn't gotten better. October 2016, they decided to order another MRI to check on it. And that MRI was worse than the one in March. So they were kind of like, nothing has gotten better. It's actually gotten worse. So and they decided to put me in one of those big orthopedic boots. And so I was in that and in the wheelchair from October. Well, in the boot, I was in the wheelchair longer, but with the boot from October 2016 October 2016 to October 2017. So for a full year, I was in the boot, and for a full year and a half, I was using the wheelchair. And I was in the boot during my first semester of pre-nursing, so I was lucky enough and fortunate enough that my friends would wheel me around campus because my university is full of hills. So even if I wanted to wheel myself, like, I would need a lot of endurance to just get up that hill in the wheelchair. So my friends, I'm so blessed to have them. They would take the wheelchair from the truck for me, and luckily I could drive still because I could use my right foot, but they would help me with my crutches, with the wheelchair, carrying my things. We had to coordinate a schedule, so I was able to get through school still. And then my first semester of nursing school, I was in the boot, and my orthopedist had told me, he was like, you can take the boot off now. And I had run into him at the hospital that I was doing my rotation at, so I was like, okay, he goes there, so he'll see me if I'm still in the boot. So what I would just start to do is carry the boot around, and if I needed to, my leg was hurting, I'll just put the boot on. So it was a whole long, a year and a half to 2 years dealing with just the calf muscle tear. And I had gained a lot of weight because I was immobile. I didn't have energy because I wasn't moving around, and I was very dependent, and it was very hard to not be able to get myself places. I couldn't use my legs, and honestly, like, you really don't realize how much you need a body part until it completely breaks down, and until two of them break down. So that was pretty much the calf muscle tear. And so to this day, we're now in 2019, my calf muscle is still acting up, but actually I went a year with it being free, no problems, and then this year it started swelling and hurting again. So I've been wearing the boot off and on, and I think that's going to be an issue for life, that I'm going to have to just wear the boot off and on whenever there's a flare-up or something, just to prevent further injury and help the leg heal. And a lot of people don't understand that it's probably never going to heal correctly because my scar tissue sucks. And so that's pretty much it. So if you see me in the boot once in a while, it doesn't mean like I did something to tear my calf. It's literally the other day when I put the boot back on, I got out of the shower and I was just standing there and I felt a burning pain going on my leg and it started swelling. So it doesn't mean anything happened. It's just an old injury acting up. So even though the boot helped my calf muscle heal, it comes with its own set of problems as well, because my leg has gotten very stiff. I have a hard time stretching my left calf, and again, I can't really flex my foot up like this. It's pretty much like that, and that's been its own set of issues. And then since I was in the boot for so long, I think that my left leg kind of, I guess, rearranged itself. I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't work how it's supposed to work. Like, I think my hip kind of rotated in because of being in the boot, and I was all lopsided a lot. So my right calf has actually been bothering me a little bit now, and I think it's because it's been taking on all the work from my left calf. And it's funny too, because I was in the boot for a year and a half, so all my left shoes are nice and clean and my right shoes are very dirty, and it's just funny when I wear them together because it's like, what happened? I haven't been able to do too much. Like, they've been wanting me to go on walks to help my stomach and just to be healthy, and I can't really walk because my calf muscle starts to act up, and just kind of like double-edged swords everywhere with VEDS. And I don't know. we'll see how it goes. But they always say that they recommend aquatic therapy is the best. So I just need to try and get in the water more to help strengthen my calf muscle. But thank you for tuning in. And that's it for the calf muscle. Next week I'm going to talk about my colon perforation and pretty much all of 2018 because 2018 was its own year. But if you have any questions, feedback, comment, message me, let me know anything. If you want to know more about any of what I've gone through and talked about in this video, and share the page, share the profile, share the video if you found it interesting, and we'll see you next week. Thank you guys.